are at Open Hub are so grateful to have Newburgh Free Library supporting our initiatives to do web development together and just to teach each other, okay, to learn together, you can name it, because each time we have expertise fulfilling each other, right? So it's co-learning initiative, while we do always do have the web developers to like experts to come and share their expertise. I'm so grateful to have Shana White as an expert, guest expert tonight, and I'm very grateful to have Newburgh, New York, Hudson Valley, Free Library to sponsoring us to do that, to make it possible. Saying that all together, okay, let's show begin. Let's Shana to deliver what she has prepared for you, and we will have interactive collaboration, what we can do better or how we can collaborate. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, welcome everyone. Shana, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Um, okay, so today what we actually have slated to speak about is the the power of customizing your message for your audience. So, in order to customize your message for your audience, you have to choose your audience, and you have to get really clear about your audience, because if you try to speak to, if you imagine yourself in a room with, let's just make it simple, you're in a room with two people, and they're two very different people. If you were going to try to get, I don't know if this is a good example, but I'm going with it. If you're trying to, let's say it this way, the one person is 6 years old and the other person is 60 years old, and you want to have an engaging conversation with these people. Well, can you use the same words to have an engaging conversation with the 6-year-old as you can with the 60-year-old?
Probably not.
Probably not. So, in marketing, when you try to speak to everyone, you end up speaking to no one, because right now, see, I mean, we all grew up, in my opinion, it depends on how old people are, I guess, here, but we all grew up with some degree, at least, of broadcast advertising in our environment, like TV and radio, and I mean, even the best ads have been researched to try to find the most custom message for their people. But because I might not be their people, I just happen to be listening to the same radio station, it gets a little bit like, I'm tired of hearing. So there's so much information out there that the way to stand out is to speak to only one person. So you have to get to know who your one person is. And then when you get to know who your one person is, you build that conversation with that person into all of your messaging. And where is all your messaging? Well, it's on your website. It's what your website looks like, feels like, and the value delivered, the words you use. Um, it's also the design. So you want your design to feel like your brand feels. How do you want your brand to feel? How do you want your brand is like your it's the first impression. It's the way that your business feels to your customer. And so there's a look. If you want to come off as very slick and professional, or accessible and friendly, the design of your website, the visual design of your website, is one of the handshakes, one of the, like, the garment you put on today that either impresses or unimpresses your client. And then there's the words in your website that are then the first conversation that you're having with your client, if they're coming to your website first. But the customization doesn't end there, it begins there. So that's like the first handshake. And then we need the ability to start a relationship with our client. And have you ever experienced talking with someone who only wants to talk about themselves? Has anyone had that experience?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, right?
Oh yeah.
How does that feel? That's like, I don't want to talk to this person, get me out of here, right? They only want something for themselves. They want attention or they're trying to get something. And when we are trying to figure out how to present our business, it's important that we share what our business is about, but we can so easily fall into the trap of winding up talking about ourselves and being that person that somebody's like, oh no, all I'm hearing is what you want to sell to me. So when we're looking to start a relationship with a customer, whoever that customer is, whether that customer is our beta tester or whether that customer is, you know, you can have any number of, okay, let me start with this. Your customer, you may have multiple ideal customers. I know, Michael, you definitely have multiple ideal customers. And Sergio, you've already talked about, in my opinion, 3. You've got website developers. In my mind, I was thinking maybe smaller businesses that would be willing to beta test before you go for your big businesses. So in any given moment that you're creating a message, you pick just one and you speak to that one person. And but going beyond just speaking to one person is, what do you say to them? Well, you want to give them value. What can you give them that they're interested in that could solve a problem for them, a small problem, not necessarily the whole problem you solve, but a small problem that can let them get to know you and discover what more you can do for them and what it's like to be in a relationship with you. What are you thinking about, based on what I've said? How does that connect with your business so far? I'll just call on people so we don't have mass chaos. Michael, do you want to share thoughts?
Well, I think I said previously that I'm there's certain areas of my business that I don't want to get involved in because there's just too much. There's really too much to do. So, like for instance, animation, that type of thing, or gaming. That's not an area that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, someone might tell me I'm great at it, but I'm not taking that approach. I'm taking the approach that I think that I can do better at other things. So those are the areas I'm going to pursue.
Okay, I'm wondering if what I have shared has percolated any sense of strategy or any questions. That's what I'm looking for at this moment. Like, is what I've said landing in a way that's turning some gears, and or do you have a question?
No, what you're saying makes sense.
Okay, Sergio, how
So,
about you?
yeah, I have. So basically, one of my goals and what I'm understanding, right, is almost trying to create a persona, right? And for me right now, it's the web developer, right? So who is the web developer? What do they do on a daily basis? What do they respond to? And I mean, I've clearly not done that correctly. I have the idea of I want to talk to a web developer, and doing that means I have to speak their language, and kind of push the right buttons. So I understand that much. My problem is more, what are the right buttons? How do I figure that out? Right? Where do I and I guess that's what this is for, right? Is what what are the things that are going to get the responses from the stakeholders that would be impactful to what I'm trying to get, which is right now beta testers.
It's a big challenge. You're absolutely right about that. Everyone is going through this, no matter how far and how advanced you are, you have to do this from the scratch again and again. It's really efficient to do it together, give you feedback.
Okay. Does anybody else want to share?
Michael or Mikhail, do you mind
Mm-hmm.
to share your email with me in the chat? Because I don't see your registration coming. So just
Oh,
need.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, let's see.
Okay. So
Chuba is usually do not Chuba
I,
usually doesn't have the access to mic. Chuba,
okay,
do you
got it.
mind to communicate in the chat, please?
Okay. So so one of the things that we were going to talk about today, but I'm not sure that it's really the right topic for you right now. So I just want to double check. We were going to talk about email and email tools to help relationship building, as well as forms on the website and opt-in ideas, so that you can have an easier time of relationship building with custom messaging with people that have said, hey, I want to get to know you more. I might be your customer, but I'm not sure yet. Or I did buy something, and I'm not sure if I'm going to buy anything else, but I still want to be in a relationship with you. But it's sounding to me like we're not there yet in what we're trying to solve in business. Is that true?
At least for me,
I,
yeah, that sounds true, right? It's more initial customer acquisition than or test initial acquisition than retaining relationship right now.
Okay.
yeah,
Michael.
I'd say that's, yeah,
Okay.
I
All
agree
right.
with that. Yeah.
Okay. So we're not going to talk about eBlast right now. Wait, do you want to?
Really?
So would you, so it sounds like you don't consider an e-blast a good mechanism to acquire new prospects.
It definitely is. But the question is, can you use it or you can spoil it and turn your customers away from you?
Well,
Okay.
I have another question. Where, if you're using email to acquire customers, where did you get the email list? Where did you get the email address from?
Uh, is that a jump ball, a jump question? uh,
This is a brainstorming question. You
well,
have to start somewhere.
yeah. So there are various organizations. For instance, I found that there are several organizations in my area that are film producers, and so I have gone to some of their meetings, their get-togethers, just to meet them face to face and let them know I'm available and would love to help them. And I need to follow up on that, I think, on a regular basis, which I have a little difficulty with.
To follow up.
Yes.
Okay. So you got the list, or people are just like signing, yes, we want to be in touch with you. They're not signing up with your email list. They don't give you permission for email list, but they are interested to stay in touch. Am I right?
Well, I am interested in staying in touch. I don't know if they're interested,
So you are
but most
obtaining their
most of
emails.
I'm sorry.
You are getting their emails and you're storing them somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually they hand them. We hand them. We exchange emails.
Okay. So where do you store the email is the next question.
Yeah, so you're asking if I have a customer relationship database?
Any kind of storage for your emails to continue to follow up. You can name it as CRM, or you can name it as contact management, or just follow up. It doesn't matter right now. I'm just
Uh-huh.
wondering, what do you do about your process? Make sense?
Well, it's not really organized to that extent.
It's okay.
I do not have a database right now other than just using Outlook and using their ability to write notes and write time, time of contact, time I sent something out,
Okay.
that type of thing.
So
Michael, I have a question for you. Do you
Uh-huh.
use do you like keep everything on a spreadsheet and, you
No,
know,
I've done that
Outlook.
before,
He said
and
Outlook.
I feel like I do a lot of double entry that way, so I try to avoid using a spreadsheet. Yeah.
I agree. But are you using Outlook just to store the contacts and just choosing next time? Probably I assume you have less than 100 people on your list, handsy picking those people to your email if you want to do the bunch of emails or like bulk email or just literally communicating one-on-one. That's your process?
Yeah, that's my process.
Very,
Literally one on one.
yep,
Yes.
very familiar with that. No worries. It's normal for small business, starting business, startup business.
Uh-huh.
Sergio, what about you? I think you have something as your process, and I think you have some ideas how to do it better.
yeah, so I mean, for email acquisition, obviously anybody who's signed up to the website, I'll talk to.
Mhm.
Um, for cold outreach, I used to do sales, so I do a lot of email acquisition in a first email of like, hey, this is a unrequested email. Is it okay if I keep talking to you with an opt out kind of
What do
thing?
you use for that?
Um, uh, a lot of different tools. I used to use discover.org, but right now I'm using a tool called Scrap, which literally you can just scrape emails off of people's LinkedIn's, which is terrible, but also works very well. And then I, triple wash that through some email verifiers just to make sure I'm not getting a lot of high bounces and then get blocked from,
Mhm.
Gmail from sending emails. Um, and then I'll use like MailChimp or Klaviyo or one of the mailing providers to send out the original email, and then obviously
Mhm.
with opt-outs and all those things.
It sounds for me both scenarios, what Michael addressed and what Sergio is communicating, both scenarios are quite common on the different level.
Mhm.
Both scenarios are
Mm-hmm.
quite common, as I said, so both have some room to scale up.
Mm-hmm.
Shana, do you want to take it from there, or you want to
Sure.
do?
Yeah. Okay. So email developing an email communication habit with people who have said, "Hey, I like what you're doing," is it's basically like building the karma of your business, building the good karma of your business. Otherwise, you end up just the opportunities are there in front of you, and then they pass by,
Mhm.
and they're there in front of you, and then they pass by. And in relationship marketing, people need time to get to know you. So it's a really good idea to start to develop an email strategy. And then email strategy has two parts to it. The first part, or the first part I'm going to talk about, it's kind of the second part, is you want to be able to, you want to have an idea of what you're going to say. And this goes back to that conversation situation. Am I going to tell you what I need from you? hey, I'm so great. Don't you want to do this? Because I really need you to do this. Or are you going to say, I understand the problem that you have that I can solve. And so here's some value to tell you more about how that problem can be solved, how I can solve it for you by what I'm sharing with you today. That's like a value email. You don't always want to be doing a selling email. So you send out value emails and you send out call to action regularly to help people. A call to action could be like, you know, click this button to get this video, or reply if you like this, or whatever. Like, it doesn't always have to be a selling call to action, but it's good to add calls to action to test engagement with your existing audience and to train them to be engaged. Train them. You can't train them, but if you invite them to click on things more often and it goes well for them, you're going to be more inclined to click on something to buy in the future. So this is like customer relationship building in email. But you also want to set up how can you grow your email list. So that involves one way that you can do that. You need a form somewhere for people to actually say, hey, I want to be part of your email list. And so that is where, like, finding if you're using MailChimp, you can do an embed form that you can then fold into the HTML on your website. Or any of the email management software tools will have a way to embed a form, and then that form signs someone up into your email account inside that, your account to manage email inside that tool. But the trick is that you want to give them something of value in exchange for their email address. You want to make sure that they see the value and the reason why to give their email address. One way to do that I'm actually experimenting with these days is a quiz. So you create a quiz and then they opt in to get their results. But the quiz has to solve the problem that you solve. You want everything that you're doing to be related to the problem that you solve that other person cares about. Because no one is going to buy from you if you're not solving a problem that's worth paying to solve. So, Michael, when you're talking about voiceovers, what is the problem that you're solving for people, and what's the emotional value of having that solved? Whether you're talking to the 6-year-old or the 60-year-old, you want to think that through. And Sergio, what's the problem that you're solving for website developers? That's your first avatar.
Yeah. So could it be, like a twofold thing where if let's say I'm going to make a quiz, right? Some web developers might be having the problem that they can't find, that their clients want an integration for video, and they can't find a good one for it. Others might actually want to use it themselves to acquire new customers. And maybe others want to have just an option for something that they can upsell to their clients, right? Something that they say, hey, I can charge you XYZ to integrate this new thing to your website. Would you create like the quiz answers to kind of fit one of the three scenarios and then talk to them about that? I'm just curious of how the messaging would work in your mind.
You think about the outcome it's a combination of understanding the problem that they feel like they have and the solution that will make their problem go away. And then you interview them about who they are and how they're experiencing this problem. And so the answers are multiple choice. They're not usually text area answers, although you can collect information with throwing a text area answer in there, but it's not going to score your quiz results. And then based on the way they answer, you provide them with the solution that's tailored to them. Now, this is interesting because maybe you have 3 ideal clients. You have one solution, but this one solution would best sound different to that problem. For instance, if someone is a relationship coach, they've got one fundamental approach to solving relationship problems, but the people that this coach can serve, they experience their relationship problems differently. They feel like one person feels like I'm always compromising and nurturing and my partner never does, and the other person feels like my partner won't stop criticizing me. And so maybe if you go deep enough, the underlying problem is the same, or the solution is the same, but the way the person hears and feels the problem is different. So then what's the purpose of the quiz? The quiz is to find out which way are you feeling this relationship problem. Do you feel like you're always compromising, or do you feel like your partner's always criticizing you? Oh, okay. Based on how you answered, sounds like you feel like your partner is always criticizing you. So now I'm going to explain to you my solution in terms of you feel like your partner is always criticizing you, and that's your problem, and this is how the solution works. And then the other person, the messaging would be different, even though the solution is the same. But I'm explaining how that solution fits with a different problem, slightly different sounding problem. And that is like highly customized messaging, that the purpose of customized messaging is to let the customer, first of all, you only want a right fit customer. That's how businesses grow, not by trying to fit with someone who's not right fit. But when your right fit customer knows that you understand their problem, they trust you. They say, I do want to have a conversation with you. So does that answer your question, Sergio?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, great. We have a couple ways that we can go here. One is if it would be beneficial to anyone to take a peek inside some email tools, I'm happy to do that. I can show an email builder. I have a very simple campaign that I made in Keep that I can show.
Love
And
to see it.
But what about
what?
forms?
Yeah,
He
I think
wants.
that would be great.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
2 people were talking at the same time. It didn't work for me.
He said yes.
Okay. Yes. All
I'm
right.
asking if you have anything to address forms, like sign up, funneling.
I mean, I have, in terms of an example.
No, if we will be addressing this tonight.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, right now. It's okay. One step at a time.
okay, one step at a time.
I'm Yulia Tomich.
I am going to, I'm going to sign in to Keep first, and then I will
Okay.
share my screen. Okay. Um, Okay, here's my very boring looking Keep dashboard. And
Keep is part of the Infusionsoft. Am I right?
Infusionsoft is part of Keep, or
Ah,
Infusionsoft
mm,
became Keep.
okay, okay, got it.
So under marketing, there's a number of tools. We have email and broadcasts and campaign builder. So we'll look at the email and broadcast first.
Mhm.
Um, so this is basically if I want to just send a one-off email or schedule, send it right away or schedule it. I have used MailChimp as well, and I do like the Keep email.
Better?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So I usually grab a template that has, the basic layout that
Mhm.
I'm considering for what I'm doing. So here's, this is text, image, whatever you want to put here. And depending where you click, it will change the tools available here. But they have nice, what do you call them? Like elements for building. And you just drag it to put it there. So, and then I don't know if do you want to see any of this further? Does anybody on here want to see the tools in the left-hand column more deeply?
Not, not really. Now, is this just a formatting tool? But you still have to come up with the content, correct?
Yeah, I have to come up with the content, but this is
Hmm.
building my email to send. And then this is where I choose recipients. So I don't actually have to manually choose my recipients. Michael, you were talking about that you send your emails to people one on one.
Hmm. Right.
Here, what I can do is when people enter when people opt in, say I have 3 different forms on my website. On the one form that I have, I'm giving them 5 things they can do to spend quality time with their significant other. And the other form is, 5 meditations to improve your inner connection with love. And the other one is whatever. So I can create a tag that gets assigned to someone when they opt in to my email list through that form. They downloaded the quality time, and this person over here downloaded the meditations. And so then I can create an email that's about meditation that maybe I want to send it to the meditation people. And then now I actually did a quiz testing if people responded to this idea that they have peace in their meditation, but they fight with their lover, because I am a really.
Okay.
So I can choose to send an email to all the people that are tagged with this particular tag.
Okay.
This is the power of using an email management software and customer relationship management software for your broadcast emails, which is more familiar to what you've been doing. Are there any questions before I show you campaigns? Which
But
is,
you got segments first, right? So in the flow, addressing the flow, you were working to create segments to the lists and then the segments, segmenting them.
yeah, so by segmenting, Yulia is talking about applying tags to contacts, ideally in an automated fashion, so that I can then send these kinds of emails to the 6-year-old and those kinds of emails to the 60-year-old. so that they feel understood as I continue to build my relationship with them.
And uh, do you actually use these tools?
I do.
I, I I find that sometimes I get pretty wrapped up in the tools, and it's kind of a distraction from making real progress at things.
If you don't have your customer clear.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That
Sergio,
that's fair.
yeah, Sergio, do you have any questions before you go? Or do you want to share anything about your experience before you go? Or is it too late because you have to go? Did he go already?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. It's okay.
I also have a commitment at 6, and I'm already a little late for that. So regrettably, I'm going to have to take off too.
Okay.
But thank you very much for. I feel like I've learned a couple of things, and so thank you.
It's really great if you learn something.
Okay. Well, we try to do that every day, don't we?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Michael, welcome back anytime so you know where to find us. Do you?
Okay. Um, yes, you sent out an email. That's how
Okay.
I. That's how I. That's
So
how
it
I
means
appeared here.
you're part of the web development community on Hudson Valley.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it
All
means we
right.
will hear from each other again and again.
Okay.
Oh, developers community.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Chuba, do you have any questions that you would like to put in the chat? Or would you like to see a campaign?
I want to see a campaign. Can I?
Yes, yes.
We have 15 more minutes, so you can do that during 15 more minutes. Is this
Sure,
okay?
sure. Now let's see. Okay, so I created a, this is my, whoops, thing's loading. This is the campaign that I actually created in here. It's modest, but it's still beautiful. And it's loading. Okay. Okay. So the power of managing personalized messaging. Because if you try to do it all manually, you would be so bogged down that you couldn't manage your own life. So we have two kinds of ways of building our customer relationship in the email. Broadcast emails, which are emails that get sent out to multiple people at once, and you can choose who's going to receive them based on how you segment your audience using tags in your email management software. And then the other really powerful thing is automated email campaigns. And here, before we go to the next slide, here are some tools that you, if you're looking to build automated email campaigns to manage your business, these are some tools that you could consider: Keep, Ontraport, MailChimp, and ActiveCampaign. So an automated email campaign, let's start over here. Actually, it's a little simpler to look at. The way it works is it's basically a if then software inside your email management software that allows you to automate actions that happen under certain conditions. So, for instance, if someone signs up in your opt-in form and they opted in for that particular free gift that was about meditations, then we can add the meditations tag. In other words, when they opt in, they're automatically have that meditations tag added to their contact, and then we can put them through another automation. Now, because they had the tag added to their contact, that can trigger.
Can you make full screen, please?
Yeah,
Present,
sure. Whoops,
not
no,
visible.
present.
Hmm.
This doesn't exactly match the slide that's right in front of me, my current explanation. Um, so you can, if you have that tag of meditations added, and then you can add them to an automated campaign where there's a series of, maybe they get this email that you wrote 3 weeks ago, and then you can tell it to wait a day and then send them this other email that you wrote 3 weeks ago. So you could like write a suite of 15 emails, and maybe you're going to send them out every other day. And then you automate it so that anyone who signs up in a form on your website requesting that meditations free gift, then they get these emails from you for a month. So you have a month of relationship building that you don't have to do personally. And then maybe the next day someone else signs up and they get that same treatment. And then next week someone else signs up and they get that same treatment. So your automated software becomes like this hospitality relationship building machine for you. So this is a sample campaign in Ontraport. You can see that this is the way the Ontraport campaign builder looks. And what it's showing is that, say that a contact is added to this campaign and the contact is updated, and the method is to use the built-in lead scoring. So this campaign is tracking a customer's lead score. In other words, how engaged are they in all of your marketing? And you can have one contact doesn't go through one campaign. You can have multiple campaigns that a contact is being tracked through inside the system. So as this contact is interacting with your other campaigns, like that meditations campaign that went on for a month, the Ontraport is tracking when does this person engage, how much do they engage, and it's giving them a score. So this campaign is tracking once their score is greater than 50, then it will assign a task to me or to someone on my sales team to go ahead and connect with them in another way. So this is the condition, and then it says, does the condition evaluate to true? If it does, then we go to this assigned task, and then that concludes the campaign. But as long as that condition is not true, in other words, as long as the lead score is less than 50, then nothing happens. So in this campaign,
Did you talk about score? How the scores? How do you get the score?
this is using the built-in lead scoring algorithm in
In our
in,
Ontra.
in Ontraport. But you could, in Ontraport, you could build your own lead scoring method, because Ontraport is very much like Drupal as a content management system. It's very much like Legos. Like you can build any system that you want. In my experience, Keep is more limited in certain ways. Although
Limited. You said limited.
there are some things that you can't do in Keep that you can do in Ontraport, has been my observation so far.
Which one is more powerful? Ontraport.
They're both powerful, but Ontraport is I'm finding it to be designed more towards to be more customizable. For instance, Keep has a built-in customer engagement watching mechanism. So in other words, if your customers don't open your emails for 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, Keep will automatically, if you turn on this setting, Keep will automatically take them off your active list. Ontraport doesn't actually have that as a built-in feature, but you can build it in your campaign. In a campaign, you can build a campaign to do it, which means that you can totally customize it. Maybe you want 45 days, or maybe at the 30-day mark, you want it to send out a particular thing. So it's completely like ground up. You do it the way you want it. So this is just an example of another campaign where here you have a tag applied. How did that tag get applied? There are multiple ways to apply a tag depending on how your customer interacts or does not interact with an email that you send out or a form from your website. And then, but it looks like this is tag applied via campaign, a different campaign. Then it wants to check, is this person already a member? So are they already a member of your list? And then if they're already a member, then they exit the campaign. But if they're not already a member, or if they're a new member, then they're invited to take a survey. And then if they, let me see what's going on here. Didn't schedule the interview survey, but completed the survey. Okay, I'm a little bit confused about what I'm reading here. But the point is that when someone enters a campaign, they usually enter a campaign because a tag is applied to them, because you want them to enter a campaign automatically. You don't want to, you can do it manually, but you want it to happen automatically. And the way that typically happens is they either completed a form or a tag was assigned to them because of an action they did or did not take prior. So then you can test to filter for certain conditions, and if they pass the conditions, they go over here and they, in this case, get sent a survey. And if they don't pass the conditions, then they go over here and they get set aside. So here you're starting to have customization. Because have you ever gotten an email saying sign up for something that you already signed up for? And doesn't it make you feel like you're not being seen? So this is the power of campaigns, is you can have your system check, did this person sign up for this? How do they know? Because when they signed up, they got a tag. Do they have a tag that says that they already signed up? If they did, then I'm going to send them a, hey, I'm so glad you signed up. Hey,
You can treat them differently. Yeah.
yeah, you can treat them differently. You could be like, I'm so excited that you're coming. I can't wait to see you. And if they haven't signed up yet, then you could be like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't sign up yet. You're going to miss so much. So anyway,
Cool.
that's the power of campaigns.
Can I ask you what's the difference between, okay, MailChimp, okay, Active Campaigns, okay, Infusionsoft, which is Keep now, and the last you showed, which is on
Ontraport.
Ontraport.
So they have different features. What I am finding, you can do automated campaigns in MailChimp, and in my experience, I never did the ones that are called user journeys, and I saw that they do have a builder similar to this in their user journeys. So differences you're going to find is how robust the features are, how much have they already done for you versus they give you Legos to let you do it yourself. And that's going to be your personal preference, whether you're like, oh my God, it's too overwhelming, I just want templates, I want it done for me. Versus, please don't bother me with templates, I feel limited by them, I want to be able to design my system exactly the way I think about it. Also, do you want to track e-commerce? So are you selling something that you want to be able to track your sales along with your contacts, like to show inside your email management software did this customer buy this thing and when did they buy it? So to be able to integrate your sales management with your email management and contact management and sales management and tasks. So I have discovered that Ontraport has a robust task manager, which is for yourself and your sales team or your business team. I did not see a task manager in Keep. I'm not saying there's not one there, but I did not see one. So
It
basically,
sounds so sophisticated now. I'm not sure every small business can afford the sales team and do all this task assignment.
true. However, what I'm finding as a solopreneur in one of my projects, that a task manager would make it easier for me to manage my own time without having to think so much.
Okay.
And then the other differences are cost, and you want to think about how big are you planning to grow, and you look at what is the cost for me to start. For instance, you can start with MailChimp for nothing. However, you don't get much in automations for nothing. And then when you grow, as you get up to, 1,000 contacts, 5,000 contacts, 10,000 contacts, how much does it cost? And what do you get with those costs? So I find that Ontraport is a little bit cheaper than Keep, and I'm finding I like their features better too. But you have to compare them yourself and see what your needs are.
Cool. Thank you, Shana. I think it's a fruitful, eye-opening discussion. We need to do more hands-on thing here. Saying that I would stop recording and we can talk.